each and every one of us as we partake to this program. And may this be a fruitful program and a productive program with tangible outcome result in future. In Jesus' mighty name we prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Ngema. Pastor Slope, sorry. Pastor Slope. Now we'll have the opening and welcome by Dr. Ngema. Dr. Ngema and I serve on the PPF and the NEC of the PPF. Must I hold it for you?
Thank you, Claudette. My name is Ngema. I'm the chair of Ward 35. I'm a businessman, I'm a dental practitioner, and I'm a member of ANC in good standing. I would like to take this opportunity to greet leadership, Provincial Coordinator, Comrade Mabuyakhulu, the Mayor, Comrade Baba, our ship whip of Ethekwini Municipality, Sneh Sishange, also a chair of Women's League, Sbu Mhlongo, of regional chair of Mzala Ngumalo, and then, sorry. We are very grateful for this stakeholders engagement. Since Ethekwini we are faced by many challenges, we would like to celebrate the recent move taken by Ethekwini Municipality of stopping the procurement of water tanks. As we know, we have challenges of aging infrastructure, but also know that there's a serious sabotage. We also like to celebrate the increased visibility of Metro Police in our ward. We've been having serious challenges of crime around our city. We also take this opportunity to plea to the leadership to go back to the drawing board and also address the issue of unemployment. Let's try to create conditions that can attract foreign direct investment that can create employment. As Sonkwana Zone, we are committed and ready to take marching orders from the leadership and still believe people still love the ANC. As we are approaching the local government election, we are pleased by the move by the NEC to beef up the provincial leadership with the hope of bringing back the glory days of African National Congress. We also like to encourage people, comrades, to vote for the ANC in the upcoming by-election in Ward 1110. I also like to see Swiso Ngema, who happens to be our candidate for this upcoming election. Maybe you can stand, comrade. They can see you. Madlogov. Thank you very much. Oh, Madlogov, we are asked, at this side. They'd like to see you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, so this is Swiso Ngema. Madlogov. Those who are not about a 1110 for my by-election. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen and comrades, before we let our Honourable Mayor, Ethekwini Mayor, give us his remarks, I would like to also say that I'm also from Ward 1110, and I would like to see all of you at the by-elections as well, and we're looking forward to it, but we're looking forward more especially to the remarks by our provincial coordinator. But before that, comrade, our Ethekwini Mayor.
Our program director, Comrade Claudette, our chief whip, and Sneh Koku, Sishange, our provincial coordinator, Comrade Mike Mabuyakhulu, the chair of the ward, Dr. Thank you very much, of the branch, thank you very much. And this is Ward 35, Comrade Sneh Koku, yeah. And the election is in Ward 10. I'm told that we are sharing a boundary, and but we thought that we need to have this meeting here on this side of the boundary, and that the other activities will follow, and they will happen mainly in Ward 110. We've just introduced the candidate, Comrade Sfiso Ngema, that would be the face of the organization in that ward. And I must admit, this is going to be a highly contested election. And as we move towards 2026. 2026 is going to be heavily contested. I think we need to be ready as an organization. Just in brief, last week I received a farewell note from one from the Consul General in New York, because I've been working very well with her. She was telling me that she was packing up her belongings and leaving America for South Africa. And then later we got news that in fact her accreditation was revoked and by the US administration. That follows straight on the heels of our ambassador there, that side, being declared persona non grata, and was also told to leave the country, America. And whilst following that, we also received news that South Africa that had some agreements with America and that were more favorable to us in terms of ALCOA, and that Trump was not happy with that, and then he started introducing the tariffs. He says, according to his words, that South Africa was imposing 60% tariffs on them. It is not true. It was not in all in all cases, but he then introduced 30% tariffs as a way of punishing the country. We knew that since we touched Israel, Comrade Mike, and since we touched Israel, and we will face some of the backlash. And because we knew that Israel had the backing of the most powerful countries and in the world, and that it was not alone in the deeds that Israel was actually committing. And we were prepared for a situation like this, and but the good thing, we are not going to be alone. We have won many friends, people who, powerful friends, powerful nations that were afraid to stand up against Israel because they knew what was going to happen to them. But after we took Israel head on, we have seen some of these countries standing up in support of the case that we lodged, and that now it's actually happening, and that is starting to bear results. And the Trumps and other people are not too happy with that. But we are watching the space. But we've taken a resolution. We've taken a resolution that as South Africa, we're not going to take the Trump administration head on, because it is not the people of America who are acting in the manner that is represented by Trump, who are acting like this against us. But it is Trump administration that has taken the course that it has taken. It's not for the first time that South Africa, especially ANC, faced a hostile US administration. It's not the first time. But we maintained the relationship with the people of America. even when the administration was not against us, but the people of the people of America stood with us, and in our liberation, and they forced the Reagan administration to impose sanctions on South Africa. That administration was dead against imposing sanctions on South Africa, but when we strengthened that relationship with the people of America, and that then gave us the results. So we will not ignore what Trump does, but instead we'll strengthen our relationship, people to people, relationship with America, and because we believe that the Trump's administration is a passing thing. And indeed, they made a mistake by appointing Trump, electing Trump as their president. They also have the price to pay, but we think that with time, and we will emerge victorious as the country. The next point, and the GNU, Comrade Mike was speaking about the GNU as well as the government of provincial unity. It suffered a setback and last week, and it suffered setback. It has not been explained adequately what is at the center of the fight between ourselves as well as the Democratic Alliance insofar as the budget is concerned. The DA says you don't need to increase the VAT. Don't need to increase the VAT. All you need to do is to withdraw all the grants, the social grants we are paying to our people. So it's a fight where they think that we, as a country, we ought not to be paying so much to deal with the issue of poverty, and they think that the grants are a waste to the taxpayers, and they think that they basically say that social grants is becoming one of the biggest expenditure item, and they think that by reviewing the social grants we give our people will save some money, and therefore we don't need to increase with the VAT. We said we're not going to do that, and because there was a reason why we introduced the grants that we have introduced, and therefore we will consider increasing VAT. And then the VAT increase is a temporary measure. It's not going to be a permanent thing, and it's even better than going out to borrow. Because if you borrow money, you're actually increasing your debt service cost. Right now, the debt service cost is too much in our country, and but we thought that it's better we call our people to dig into their pockets, as we speak, as an interim measure, and that when the situation improves, at least we'll know that it's not money that we borrowed from anybody that we had to pay and the cost on it, but it's money that our people paid from their own pockets. So this setback, we are meeting to reflect on it, because this government, to be honest, had to be saved by parties that are not in the government of national unity. No one knew that parties like BOSA, parties like Action XA, and other parties will come to the party to defend this government. Nobody knew that that would happen. But when they heard that, in fact, and at the center of this fight was the issue of grants, they said, we will not accept it, but will defend this 0.05%, and that is being mooted by the government of national unity. So that's where we are, but we are looking at that. But I can tell you, it will come at a cost. Because, there's a feeling that how do you, there's a Is it? Okay. There is a feeling. There is a feeling, and how to trust now those chairpersons of DA, chairpersons of a committee to monitor the budget, that they were acting and that they've taken a position against. I think there's going to be a conversation in Parliament, perhaps less in the executive, but more on the oversight. They hold a number of positions of chairpersonships in the legislature, and the portfolio committees are engine when it comes to monitoring the expenditure and the on budget. So we'll then have to have a bit of conversation in that regard. Because even other parties that were supporting us, they're going to ask us a question. Are you still entrusting these people with this responsibility? I don't know. It's a discussion we are going to have as we move forward. And in the province, surely it's intact. I don't see any fracture. And in the government of provincial unit, I don't see any fracture. And at a local level, we do have our own arrangement. In the local level, it's not like an executive mayoral system. Where they have an executive mayoral system, the mayor appoints all members of ESCO, and he or she may decide to draw them from his political party, but it's a collective executive system, and which means that members serve on ESCO on the strength of their own party in council. As you speak, DA has 3, IFP has 1, EFF has 1, and we have 5. And the 5 we share it with the NFP. So it's a collective executive, and that we have in Ethekwini, but the center is really holding. We are improving the image of the city, and will continue to do that. All the issues that the committee was complaining about, with the help of Mabuyakhulu as the co-convener of the presidential election, Presidential Ethekwini, and working group, we are attending to them. They've actually helped, they're appointed by the president, they report directly to the president. We've actually helped the city to unlock some of the challenges. I should say that the city is well on course, and I can tell you that in no time, there will be huge development taking place in the city. We are meeting with investors. We want to close the gap. Those who are looking for places to invest, the place to invest now, I think there's saturation on the northern side of Durban. There's some space for investment in the south, and but right now we are trying to consolidate investment in the west. We have just opened a 1.5 billion rand investment, and it's part of the 12 billion rand investment that is going to happen there. As a city, we're investing over 600 million rand to provide infrastructure to enable that development to take place. Next time you drive between Durban and Pietermaritzburg, you'll not see that you have left Durban and you have entered Pietermaritzburg, because we shall have connected the city of Durban as well as the city of Pietermaritzburg. That place, that Outer West, is going to be our mid-rent equivalent. Already we're in discussion with investors. They are very serious. They are happy with the course we are taking. Business confidence has risen. We moved from 35%. We're now at 61%, and it's continuing to rise. And we're meeting with financiers who are happy with the stance that we are taking as a city. They're saying to me, look, Mr. Mayor, we had people coming up with a good proposal, Comrade Mike. Good proposal to us, but when you looked at where the city is going, we're not confident enough to fund those proposals. But with a change of leadership at the provincial level as well as at the local level, they are now willing to finance some of the proposals that have been, business proposals that have been placed on their table, and they are saying, keep it up. They're actually calling for more business proposals to finance. The city of Durban will change its face completely. And I'm giving myself 10 years. I'm not going to be in the city for 10 years, but the foundation we are laying, I'm happy that whoever comes after me will take the baton and carry on from the steps that we have taken. You need to be excited about the city. You have all the reasons to be excited about the city. Of course, there's been a lot of wastages. There's a lot of wastages. We are going to cut on those wastages. We are going to cut on those wastages. We've picked up a number of wastages in the city, and but we want a rand to deliver a rand value of services to our community. With that, thank you very much. I'm sorry to have taken a bit of time, but I felt I should just clarify the point. Thanks, Comrade Mike. Thanks, Comrade.
Thank you, our worship comrade Cyril Kaba, and thank you for raising those pertinent, salient points that you raised in your keynotes that you raised. That were really, I think it worries all of us as South Africans and as within this Ethekwini region. You are doing a sterling job, and we applaud you for that. There's great improvement within our city, and we see the streets are clean. Lots of things are happening within our province, so we're excited for that. But in saying so, I am together with the rest of them, I'm sure, are grateful for the fact that you raised the points that are happening in the US, and those issues are really, really worrying and troubling to us as South Africans, the Trump administration, and also the recent GNU. It's been worrying us, and I'm sure it's been raised, the concerns raised by us were answered by you today, so we are grateful for that. So before I hand on to the next speaker, I would like to acknowledge the Regional Secretary of Musa Dadla region, Comrade Nati. Also welcome Comrade Kosinati from the Mdadla, former chair of 94, chair of Ward 94. Welcome Comrade ANCKZN, Secretary of Ward 35, and the leadership of the Youth League. And before we go on, I would like to now call on our keynote address and the person that we came to hear and listen to. And I'm sure we are all excited and enthusiastic to listen to him. He was my former boss with NUMSA Union, and I was a legal advisor within him and learned a lot from him. And if I stand before you and I'm a brilliant leader, it's because of leadership like him. So I would like to call upon Comrade Mike. Although I've worked with him forever and a day, I still make a mistake with pronouncing his name. So, Comrade Mike, we hand it over to you.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure seeing you. You remind me back in the days. I'm not sure whether we can understand each other or this thing takes us outside, or we can speak here using it. Can I use it? Okay. Look, let me start by paying my appreciation, firstly and foremost, to His Worship the Mayor, Siyabonga Baba Unonkos, the Chief Whip here, Comrade Dusnes, abantu abakhulu laba abasiphathele idolobha, the leadership that has been introduced, both that comes from this city, the Ethekwini region, the leadership that come from other regions. Njomane, who comes from Mzala Ngomalo Slalawe region, Comrade Dusbu Mhlongo, Comrade Matanga, Ukulu, Nopala Wasemsadal, Comrade Onang, Nopala Wasemsadal, Comrade Ilongale PTT, Comrade Tufanle, Mashlas, Ngam Koshum Dom Kul, Besektuai, Kosleganjan, Dom Kun. The leadership that is here, all of you have been recognized. Thank you very much. Comrade Program Director, tonight is not a night for me to make a speech. This evening, was built as a round table discussion. In a round table, it is more like an interactive session where we sit around, we interact. But this evening was also built as its main purpose for us was to introduce Comrade Sfiso. Comrade Sfiso, you have been introduced, got the print to Sugu. Now, Comrade Sfiso is our candidate for Ward 110. Siyabonga, Comrade Madlagov. As a candidate, the ANC leadership in KwaZulu-Natal and by extension throughout the province, we are serious in contesting by-elections. We went there, we gave them marching orders. We said we want to Ward 12 for Sopongol and Mzalangamal. They delivered Ward 12 for us, and we are very grateful. So, we are serious in contesting the by-elections. On the 16th, which is almost like a week and a half from now, of April, we will have two by-elections. We have this by-election here, 110. We have a by-election in Mandane. This by-election is not an ANC ward. It's a ward that belongs to our competitors. I won't name them. I don't name them because I don't speak for them. We speak for ourselves. We want to actually contest this ward. And the reason why we want to contest this ward is because, as we have heard from Comrade Nongos, what is so important for us as the ANC is that we should actually be able to be the main organization that is seized with the issues of the people. The PTT, which is almost 6 weeks old in office, decided on the 3rd of March that we should have a program of action. And because today is a round table, and I don't want to confuse today's session with the one on Tuesday. The one on Tuesday, which is a breakfast meeting that will take place at Coastlands, Musgrave, at 8 o'clock. And we're asking every professional to be part of that session. That is where we might say things a little bit more in that session. Because unlike a round table discussion, it's a broader session, but it's a session that we have decided to interact with all sectors. But I may give you what I call the teaser. What is likely some of the elements that we might deal with them. And I must recognize all the alliance, the leagues. I don't want to forget the ANC Youth League. I call the ANC Youth League. Amandla. Yeah. When we decided on renewal and rebuilding of the ANC, and when we were appointed as the PTT, we have decided on two fundamental things. The first is that we are about serving our people. What is uppermost in us to renew our movement is to be where our people are, is to serve them every day. That comes first. It comes first even more than the internal issues of sorting out the internal issues of the movement, which we must. But we must do that so that we sharpen the ability of our movement to serve our people. So that is what is uppermost. The second thing that is uppermost in our mind is that we have to lead. And when we lead as a structure and as a collective from the ANC PTT structure, the leagues of the ANC, our allies, the mass democratic movement, and someone calls it that the Congress movement. When we lead, we must lead with unity and practice unity in action. That is fundamental. These two things, our people, first, to focus on their issues and how we deal with them. And then when we lead the issues of our people and we lead the renewal process, the rebuilding process of the movement, we must do so with unity and practicing unity in action. I said to you, I'm not going to give you the details. I'll simply give some on Tuesday, but today is just to be able to give you some of the teasers of what might be contained going forward. But there are certain things that we think are fundamental in shaping the renewal and the rebuilding of the ANC. First of those is the restoration of public trust and credibility, meaning we need to ensure that we promote ethical leadership. In whatever we lead, we must lead with the values and ethics that we are able to imbue back into our movement the ethical values, accountability, transparency. Because for us to be able to build and build back and build better, we must do so exercising ethical leadership and accountability. And that all of us are accountable. We are introducing things that sometimes may not have been there in the movement. For instance, we are saying each and every leader of the ANC in the 66-member PTT, all of us must be accountable. We must provide monthly reports. Where have we been? What have we been doing? The organizational work, the community work, serving our communities. We must therefore be accountable. The second, in terms of those principles, is that we have to strengthen unity and organizational stability. And that when we lead an organization, we must foster this internal cohesion and addressing the long-held perceptions of a house that is divided. Our adversaries are going to try to think that we are divided. And I must make a distinction. The ANC is not a monolithic organization. In other words, it's not an organization where we are saying people should not have differing views. That is not division. Because we require to be able to have various views within the movement. We're not a monolithic organization, but we are an organization that promotes healthy debate and healthy discussion. But once we have agreed, no one must therefore be able to break ranks, and therefore we must act organizationally and exercise organizational discipline. These are the values of rebuilding and renewing the ANC. The third of that is that our people need, what they need from us is improved service delivery and effective governance. And therefore, all our leaders, wherever they are, if you are deployed in the organs of state, in government, we want you to exercise leadership there. And you have to improve service delivery. And we have to improve the way we govern. We can't be laissez-faire, adopt a laissez-faire approach in governance. We have to govern so that we can be able to build confidence amongst our people, that we take them seriously. The fourth of those is the reconnection with communities and grassroots activism. We want reconnection with communities. Leaders must not be aloof. We should be able to deal with this disjuncture between us and the masses of our people. We have to close the gap. And in doing so, we have to strengthen the ties with the communities and ensure that the ANC remains grounded in the needs of our people. And therefore, Wherever we are, we must catapult the needs of our people first and be able to put them uppermost when we deal with the issues. The fifth is about social and economic transformation. The ANC should continuously persist in transforming society. In particular, we have to persist in transforming the economic levers of our country so that we do not relent on the transformative agenda of South Africa or of KwaZulu-Natal. And wherever we are, transformation must be key. We should not be able to allow the reversal of the gains that we have been able to notch through democracy. Now, of course, the last of these fundamental principles that governs and therefore that are critical is empowerment of future leaders and marginalized group. The ANC must be very, very clear that the future is in the hands of the young. And young people, therefore, must be empowered. We have to do everything to empower young people. We have to nurture them. We have to groom them. We have to create space for young people. Because the ANC, from its foundation in 1912, it was founded on the principles that it will espouse generational mix. Within the ranks of the revolutionary movement, we must find young people leading, and we have to groom them. We have to groom young people. It must be a deliberate focus of this movement to empower young people, give them opportunities, be able to groom them to lead, support them to lead. Of course, when you actually are starting, like in any environment, you are likely to make mistakes. We should then be able to be there to accept that and to cushion young people so that we give them the ability and the space to lead. Now, I'm saying, comrades, these are some of the fundamental features of what is embedded in our program of action, but also these are the features that are dealing with the elements of the renewal and the rebuilding of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. So what we did, comrades, we have done the following. We have adopted a program of action, clearly. Now, in that program of action, it is in 3 phases. I won't go to those phases because we don't have time today. And I want us to have some time so that we can engage. But amongst those is sectoral work. We want to engage with sectors. Professionals were having an engagement with them on Tuesday. We will have quite a number on Tuesday. We're engaging with the religious sector, all interfaith. It's not an interfaith prayer, comrade. It is an engagement with the sector. Discussions. We'll be engaging with traditional leaders before the end of next week. We will then be engaging with business at the beginning of that other week on Tuesday, the 15th. We'll be engaging with civil society on the 16th. Then we'll engage with the thought leaders and opinion makers, your editors and others on the 17th. Now, parallel to these processes of engaging with sectors, we must be dealing with the issue of renewing the movement from within, dealing with the issues of membership, dealing with the issues of audit and verification of the structures of the ANC. We must also simultaneously be dealing with the processes of leading towards sorting the issues of membership. And we are already having a timeline, a roadmap towards that. I won't bother you tonight with the details of that. But the third pillar that is leading with that in terms of this phase, because there are 3 phases. So phase 1 is about us, therefore, reconnecting with society through this sectoral work, through engaging with various organs of society, but also through auditing our own structures and verifying who is still in there in the movement, looking at our electional structures and revamping our electoral machinery, and many, many other areas that we are focusing on. The second phase, which we call it the forging the new vanguard, that phase in itself is a phase of deepening the work that we are doing. Because whilst we will be dealing with issues of membership that will continue to get into the second phase, but we must also be able to then take the leadership and lead society without saying we are a leader of society, but by the way in which we provide leadership in society. Society must feel that the ANC is here. That process in itself must be governed by certain principles. First of those principles is democratic centralism, meaning power with accountability. In moving to society and engaging with various components and facets of society, ours is to ensure that we exercise democratic centralism. When we take decisions, we must be able to be like an oiled machine. All of us must be speaking in unison. You must be actually almost like having a rehashed or a what is the team? What is the word? Almost like when people are rehearsing, we must have a rehearsed approach in terms of articulation. So that when we are articulating things, people feel that the ANC is communicating the similar message. Welcome to young people. Siyabonga, 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 siyabonga baholi. So we must do that. So that is democratic centralism, meaning we must be able to ensure that when decisions are taken, we are able to communicate the similar things from wherever we are as the all facets of the movement. The second of those is the restoring the moral compass, which is ethical leadership, which I spoke about earlier. And therefore, our leaders must understand society expects the best out of us. And therefore, the way in which we behave is quite important. It either will earn us trust or will make us to be trusted by people, not to be trusted by people. The third of that, during this period, is power to the people. In other words, grassroots mobilization. The ANC is known for its capacity to mobilize the base. Now, during this phase, we want to ensure that we are able to go back and make our people the centerpiece of our revolution. And if they are the centerpiece of this revolution, we must therefore be able to say, when people have got their own issues, they be water issues, they be any other human settlement issues, we must be found championing those issues. We must be there where our people are. We cannot become an elitist organization. So, now, the next of this is that we have to service the people, in other words, the revolutionary mandate. Our existence, comrade, is about nothing else but to be where our people are, take up their issues, serve them. If we do this, we will pay less attention to our competitors. I want you to understand us clearly, comrades. We're not speaking about our competitors because we're not promoting our competitors. We're speaking about ourselves and our people. If we serve our people, there is nobody who can going to get in between us and our people. But if we don't serve our people, we're allowing space for our competitors to be able to find time and to be able to undermine us, and for our people, because they will not be trusting us, for them to move away. Now, abantu ke la ngaphandle bayathanda ukukhuluma ngabanye abantu. Asizukhuluma ngabanye abantu. Sikhuluma ngathi nabantu. Uma sikwazi ukuthatha izidingo zabantu neinhlupheko zabo, sime kanye nabo, silwe kanye nabo, there is no body uzongena phakathi kwethu nabantu. Uma sibashiya abantu bazohamba baye nalapho bacabanga ukuthi bazosizakala khona. That is why we were in Richmond yesterday, Ward 2. We went to Richmond to say to people of Richmond, we are not angry with you, and we will never be angry with you. We know that we have taken a decision yokuthi bagibele emhlane wengwenya. Now, ingwenya ke yenza into eyodwa. Iyabagwinya abantu, iyabadla abantu. Okwethu ukuyoserve abantu ukuthi bangadliwa izingwenya. We're telling abantu base Richmond izolo eKthango lesihlanu, the ANC governs Richmond municipality, and therefore we will serve them. Ward 2. We govern the Umgungundlovu City municipality. We will serve them. Ward 2. We are going to say the same thing Ward Duguza, Ward 28, that we govern the Ward Duguza municipality, and we will serve abantu base Ward 8. We will say the same thing because we govern the Ilembe district, and it will bring services to the Ward 28 community. The ANC is not going to leave people where it is not won. We are a democratic organization that understands that democracy at times will be in our favor, at times it will not be in our favor. But where we still lead the state, we will use the machinery of the state to serve our people. Because we are committed to this very cause that I just outlined to you. So we are very clear of where we are going. So, the point about tonight. Tonight is about saying to you and to the professionals and whoever is here, we have a candidate, Comrade Mandla of Swisonge. And when Swisonge contests the election, he's not contesting the election in his own ticket. He's contesting the election as a deployee, of the African National Congress. So we would want you to be able to support this candidate. But people are asking us questions. Why do you support the ANC? Why now? What is new about the ANC, this PTT? First among those, we are committing to have a renewal charter. And we are busy crafting that renewal charter. And we are going to expect each and every leader of the ANC, starting with the PTT itself, signing the charter. And the principles of the charter are the principles of renewing and rebuilding, are the principles that put our people first, as I was saying to you. So that work is being done. The second, we are recalibrating to open up the ANC to be attractive to the masses of our people. With the Asiyekaya campaign, which Asiyekaya ANC campaign, that campaign in itself is a campaign that is aimed at attracting. Where we are, we're at 17% in terms of electoral support in KwaZulu-Natal. If I were to put it in stark terms, we are at the end of a seabed. Anyone who understands the ocean, and this is the end of the seabed. We are at the deeper end of the seabed. And to go down there is too far. And once you are at the seabed, there is nowhere you can go further. So we can't go further from where we are. We only have one option, is to go up. So going up, we must. It's not something of either or. So to come up, we require a lot of oxygen. Because even with the oxygen boxes that we are carrying on our shoulders, they may not be sufficient because of the depth of the ocean. So we need more. But we also need more energy from each one of us. Hence, we don't have time to play silly games amongst us. We therefore must rely on each other, that we all need to come up. Because if we don't come up, if any one of us pulls one of us down, he's pulling all of us down. And that will become the end of the ANC. And this organization is 113 years old. Think about it. when future generation remember that there was a generation which on 113 years of the ANC decided to sink the ANC. History will be very harsh on us. There can be no options, comrade, but to get up. We can't get up on our own because the ANC is not an organization of leaders. We are not the sum total of, the leaders are not the sum total of the organization. Even the structures of the ANC, even the leagues of the ANC, even the mass democratic movement, the ANC belongs to the people of this country and to the people of the continent. Hence, everyone who is here, who is a motive force of this revolution, has a responsibility to ensure that the ANC does not die. This is an existential problem. If we actually allow the ANC to die because of our personal desires, because of our narrow subjective interest, because of our divisions, we're doing the whole movement a big disservice. And we will be intolerant, comrade, for divisions. We will be intolerant for divisions. We will be intolerant for those who will openly and on a wanton behavior want to fragment the ANC and pull us down when we are at the end of the seabed. All we need is hands on deck to push each other up so that we reach to the shore. And when we reach the shore, we will all have a breather. All this movement requires, it needs each and every one of us to come to the party. This is not a movement that belongs to the leaders. It belongs to the dead who were before us, our forebears. It belongs to us, the current generation. It belongs to those who are still yet to be born. And we have no mission to destroy it. And all we need to do is to actually add our hands to ensure that the ANC comes back alive. It regains its glorious status in the minds and the hearts of our people. It can only do so because all of us are contributing. It's an non-racial organization. We want an ANC that will reach the length and breadth of our people. We'll go to minority communities because many would remember the 1945 Pact of the three doctors who came together at a time when conditions were very, very bad. They agreed to work together. We can't divide ourselves now and fragment ourselves. I want to end by saying, comrades, a revolution is not a bed of roses. A revolution continuously changes from time to time, and conditions continue to change. And the conditions that changes in a revolution, they require adaptability. They require incisive leadership. They require people who understand and read the situation, the moments for what they are. Not people who want to hang on the past when that past is gone. We can't hang on the past that is gone. We have to be able to build this ANC in the new prevailing conditions. Each generation has its own mission. The generations before us had to give us freedom. We got freedom. 30 years in that freedom, we're now losing power. Our mission is to regain that power. Not for our own sake, but for the sake of the people of South Africa. We have to ensure that we do not have these very uncertain conditions in the country where we don't know whether we will have a government tomorrow or not. Whether you are a professional, whether you are a scientist from Mars, if these conditions persist, our future is uncertain. We can't rely on anyone. We all need to be there with the masses of our people. So if you understand why we spoke of an ANC that must be rooted amongst our people, an activist ANC that puts our people first, it's because we understand that the power to put a government of the day vests in the hands of the people and no one else. And the people will not give you power if they think you have veered off from where they think we are going. Asingabenzi abantu bakithi bagibele emhlane weingwenya. Bahamba nengwenya abantu bagibele emhlane wezingwenya nengwenya. Ingwenya ayikho into ezoyenza. Ingwenya ifuna ukudla abantu. Uma isemfuleni, makufika imbuzi iyadla, makufika inkomo iyadla, uma kufika noma isiphi isilwane iyadla. Uma kufika umuntu ezokha amanzi iyadla. Uma kufika abafana bethi bezobhukuda iyadla. We must never leave our people to be exposed to crocodiles. There are crocodiles here. And our people are riding at the crocodile, thinking that the crocodile is something that can take them across the treacherous waters. Asifuneni ingodo, asifuneni imkhonto, asifuneni amapiki. Ukuze umingwenye ivule umlomo siwafake emlonyeni wengwenye. Kodwa the only way to do that better is to serve our people. When we serve our people, there will be no need for our people to get at the back of a crocodile. But when we leave our people alone, they will be tempted to ride at the back of a crocodile. Let's narrow the space for our people to go and to hope not with a crocodile. Amandla. 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 Siyabo, siyabo, siyabo.
Comrades, can we have applause for our comrade here? He's done exceptionally well. He's unpacked all our key issues. He's given us reasons why we should vote for the ANC. Why the ANC? I mean, everybody has been saying, why the ANC? Why should I? I mean, and I think for me, what stands out is the PTT and the renewal of the charter and the principles of that charter. And also the other is to serve our people. Comrade Mike, you couldn't have said it better. I mean, we're always looking out and we're thinking, why the ANC? Now, when you come back to us and you say to us, we need to serve our people, we need to focus on their needs. And I think most importantly, if we focus on people's needs and we worry about that, the core of that, that's more important. And people will therefore see the leaders for who they are and what they stand for. If we've been accountable, been more ethical, and social cohesion is also important. But most importantly is the empowerment of youth. And amongst us today, we see a lot of youth with us sitting here today. And for that is a plus for us, looking at all these young people. And yesterday, the ANC Youth League had their election, their REC. And we are proud and delighted to have the leadership with us. Would you stand up, please? The Deputy Secretary, Charlie Mkhize, I think. Ms. Mbela. Okay, so it's so good to have young leadership. And the South African Youth Council chairperson, deputy chairperson, is here as well. Sanele, where are you? Wow. You see, these are young people that are going to be leading us not for the future. I don't believe young people are for the future. It's for the present and for working with them together as a collective. And most importantly, I think what stood up most for me is the fact that when Comrade Mike said we can work together, we can lead a structure as a collective in unity and in togetherness. And that is the most important. I think if we work together as a collective, if our leadership learns to be accountable, more ethical, and visible to us, where we can go to our leadership and approach them and have a direct conversation that becomes so much easier. And thank you so much, Comrade Mike. I don't know if we can thank you anymore for this engagement. And I think we look forward to Tuesday's engagement as well. So before we conclude the evening, we would like to take on any questions, any burning questions, any salient questions, any issues that you would like to raise with both our mayor and our provincial executive here with us today. We are glad we have them today. So if you don't raise your issues and you don't raise your questions, nobody can answer anything, can they? So please raise your questions. Okay. One. Okay, do we have the mic? Or we have a... Oh, there's another mic. There's another mic.
Not this one.
No, not this one.
Thank you.
No, this is Michael. Are you checking if I remember the can pronounce its surname?
Thank you very much, comrades. Greetings to the NEC member, Mr. Kaba. Greetings to the leadership of the PTT led by Mr. Mabuyakhulu. The leadership of the Women's League, Masi Shange. The leadership of the Youth League that is here, newly elected less than 24 hours ago. So, I think mine, let me just firstly introduce myself because it's very important because we're going to be seeing a lot of us in the next 2 years. My name is Charlie Mzimela, the newly elected Deputy Secretary of the African National Congress Youth League in Ethekwini region. Maybe mine, comrades, it's an issue that is, we always talk about it. We always mention it as young people. But it's also important that when we have engagements like these, we continue to speak about it so that the leadership at some point, not that they start because they are doing it, but continue doing it even more. Firstly, it's the issue of youth unemployment. Now, I'm not going to talk about youth unemployment today, but I'm going to be talking about making the youth employable. Because I think there's a difference between the two. Because we might cry as young people and say, the youth is unemployed. But when we zoom into the matter and say, here are opportunities, and then you'll find that young people are not employable. But how do we make these young people employable? We make them by making sure that we are assisting them in skills development and making sure that we are assisting them in maybe obtaining their qualifications as well. So it's very important that we make these young people employable, especially with what the NEC member, the mayor, was saying. Because when we make them employable, we must make sure that they match the demands of our economy. Because we are entering, or we are already in the fourth industrial revolution. These opportunities that young people must be getting are opportunities that are matching our economy and the demands of our economy. So we must make sure that even when in the projects that the mayor was speaking about in terms of investments, we must make sure that young people are fitting in those projects, not only in employment, but in also business opportunities as well. Now, Mr. Mabuyakhulu also said that we are not going to zoom.
Please say, Comrade Mike.
No,
No, it's fine. That's so I'm giving you freedom.
Okay. The coordinator actually said that part of another reason why we are here is to introduce the candidate. Well, I have a message to the candidates that not if, but when we win the election that we are going to, must never forget the people. Never forget the people that put you in the office. And you must always remember that you being a councillor is not a position for you, your family and friends, but it's a position that belongs to the African National Congress by the will of the people. Respect the organization. Respect the people that put you in power. We will be there supporting. We'll be there. We are there. But we wish you all the best. We wish the African National Congress all the best, and we wish young people, we should go there, mobilize other young people, because majority of people that are going to be voting there, it's young people. So never forget the people who put you there, never forget the African National Congress. This position is not yours, it's not for your family, it's not for your friends, but it's for the people. Thank you.
Amandla. Greetings, comrades. My name is Salele Mhlongo. I am the Regional Deputy Chairperson of the South African Youth Council in Ethekwini. We serve as an apex body of young people. We represent all youth formations. As part of my engagement directly to Comrade Mike, mine is to deposit a view, and we must also appreciate the ANC for developing youth directorates within all departments of government. In as much as there has been work done, but there's a lot that still needs to be done in terms of empowering youth officers and youth directorates with budgets. Currently in Ethekwini, we have a youth office that is responsible for a population of more than 1 million young people. So we are appealing to Comrade Mike in that PTT to look at how do we empower offices in government that are there to shape youth development. And also to say from Comrade Cyril Kaba, Mr. Mayor, we are observing a lot of catalyst projects that are invested in the seat, but we see young people not actually participating in all economic activities that are happening within those projects. Not so long ago, there was a launch of West Town. We do appreciate, but there's little young people that are participating in terms of the infrastructural development of such projects. So we kindly appeal, Comrade Mike, Comrade Mayor, Comrade Chief Whip, that whenever there's projects, can we have a platform that we create that young people in business can participate fully as other people of color? Because in Duzuma we have a mall midway, and little young people participated in terms of business opportunities. We are mostly found when we are required to be part of labor. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I greet you all with the utmost respect. Let me acknowledge the presence of our esteemed provincial leadership, local government leaders, and all comrades and professionals in the room. It's an honor to be part of this important engagement that seeks to build bridges between government and the community, especially the youth and the business sector. So my question is, can the ANC leadership commit to holding its deployees accountable at municipal level, particularly councillors and senior officials who consistently fail to deliver basic services or are implicated in maladministration? We've seen several municipalities across the province failing to spend their allocated budgets, while communities continue to suffer from poor infrastructure, water shortages, and lack of development. How does the ANC plan to deal with this disconnect between budget availability and service delivery? And will consequence management finally be prioritized as part of the Paris Renewal agenda?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Recently, we were informed of the electricity hike in Ethekwini. Can you hear me? Thank you. Recently, we were informed of the electricity hike in Ethekwini. Bearing in mind with the challenges of illegal connections, what strategies do we have in place to ensure we don't burden paying clients? Second question, old buildings and aging infrastructure killing our tourism. What plan is in place for the municipality. We kind of believe we're losing a lot of revenue. If you compare even with December holidays, you realize Ethekwini tourism is declining on a serious note. The revenue we can use for the municipality and the revenue we can use to assist our people in Ethekwini region. Thank you very much.
I think for now, can we just allow for the answers of these questions for the mayor and for the Comrade Mike to respond? And I think that's what we need to happen now, because we need to put closure to it as well.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Nopan, Kosok Bengalel, Bonnie Jonga and Angela, and the Salo region. My apologies. Thank you very much for oh yes, Lusha. And I was once in that age and leading. All right. Thank you very much. Let me start with Comrade Dr. Ngema's questions. Let me just take water, for example. See, I'm sorry, I'll be a bit detailed on this one. We are losing about 58% of our water. And it's water that is unaccounted for. They call it non-revenue water. It has just bounced back. That's the latest figure. Yes, it came down to 54 to 53, and now the latest is 58%. And that's our problem. And this water, in rand terms, is about 2 billion rand that you actually